Hi, here, more space engineers, and today I've been thinking about the scope and scale of the ship. Specifically, when we start talking about the proportions, and it's like that front is just because I'm specifically looking at the nacelle area. That it just feels like it's a little too weighty for the area. And so I'm thinking about dropping that down in height, especially since we're going with an idea of having the nacelles be separated out a little bit more. And the benefit on this, so where my line of thinking is going, is that it will allow us to separate things like our lateral thrusters. So we won't have all of our lateral thrusters grouped together like they are. So if something comes in, it helps to distribute the target points, I guess would be a way of saying it. Now, what this means is that what we have up top, what I'm thinking about here, okay, let's go to the other side where we don't have everything welded up yet. All right, so for what we've got going on here, from where the heavy armor blocks start here. In fact, let's turn a light on here. From here up to here is 7 blocks, and then from here up to the flat area is another 7 blocks, so 14 total. What I'm thinking is we actually drop the intake down so that the intake basically is just these 7 rows, and then we bring the shrouding for it down so that it sits maybe at about this area, right? So all of that sits here. That gives us a couple of blocks to work with underneath, and then a couple of blocks of actual armor, and then we basically have that come straight back and then go into the design what we were talking about before, where we basically replicate what we have going on with the armor up front here. So something, so that the tail end of the ship would basically follow, this line. So we'd have an upper nacelle and a lower nacelle, but we would actually reverse these. So this would be the upper nacelle, and that'll be the lower nacelle. That makes sense? At least for the back end. For the front end, it would be the same. So the lower nacelle will have this slope facing forward with the long line on the bottom, and then the upper nacelle will have the long line on the top. All right, so I'm thinking that's where we're going to go with it. Now, part of the reason for doing that is that will allow us to, greatly or rather significantly lower the area that we're armoring up, but at the same time it'll help develop and divide how the weight is applied from the side profile. So instead of having this massive honking thing up at the top, we'll end up with roughly half of that below the ship, which also means that the bottom of the ship then comes in line with the bottom of our conveyor system, which is going to be good, because then that means if we're going to put landing gear or any type of support like connectors and things like that, it'll basically be within the normal envelope of the ship. And then we'll have landing gear on it. I'll probably put piston-based landing gear, which is always a bad idea in Space Engineers, but I'll probably do something that has a riser on it so that the landing gear come down. And there are mods that actually give you retractable landing gear, so I may throw one of those in. But I'm thinking that way we'll have something where we'll have it drop down. We can land physically on stations. We're not bound to orbital stations or floating docks only. I want to be able to bring this thing down, at least on asteroids, if not moons. and be able to get in and out of the ship using the ramp system. And I think that we'll be able to do that. The other perk is that if we do this, we can actually hide most of the ramp inside the nacelle structure. So when it comes down, you could have basically this, you'd actually have, let's see here, we're gonna go with the light armor blocks here. You could have a system like this, where say this is the nacelle wall, and you could end up with utilizing all of the space between these two pieces. Right. So you actually have enough room in there to put the thrusters in. So that gives us an additional place to relocate or to allocate more lift thrusters, which means we could potentially get rid of these and move them into the nacelles, which was kind of what I wanted to do anyway. I'm really wanting a lot of the thrust systems to be hidden away outside of, you know, out of the way for folks. But that also gives us the ability to maybe throw more batteries in or do other things, because we'll have a lot more room to put stuff in. Also potentially moves the lateral thrusters from where they are here back in this area to inside the nacelle. And what I'm thinking is that we'll basically have them follow the same lines of what we're talking about for the nacelle line. So you'll have, say, the bottom nacelle. Am I really out of? I am out of iron plate. Steel plates, rather. Let's grab some plates really quick. I actually have to go grab some power. Maybe we'll stop in and do that on the way back down. You know, just go ahead and grab 1,000 of them because we're going to go through them. Let's grab some power really quick. We'll just do the quick charge because we can. Well, the quicker charge because we can. So what I'm thinking is I'm probably going to do most of this work off camera, just because it's going to be a lot of work, and quite frankly, it's really just a modified version of what we did for the upper portion. Of course, we did lose the footage from the first time around. So maybe. But so what I'm thinking is that we'll do, you know, say, what have we got, 4? Yeah, so we'll do 4 thrusters on one nacelle, and then we'll have, you know, another 4 thrusters on the other nacelle. And then if we need to, we can, on the same nacelle, we can actually double it up. And you're gonna go there. You know, as necessary to provide us with however much thrust we need to fly the ship. But then that also gives us the ability to have our lateral or our vertical thrusters spaced either like that, you know, or have multiples on top and bottom. And so that would give us a lot more flight control surface as far as the thrusters are concerned. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to the idea of taking this whole thing apart again. Oh man. But so basically what we'll end up with is, if we do this, we'll end up with this area. Got stuck in there. We'll end up with this area basically getting a second layer of armor all the way down. You know, that will obviously blend in. So that'll come down. This actually all drops down, so that will allow us, if we want to keep all of this going, we could. Let's see, since you're going to fall in line there, we're going to bring you down 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go 5. That puts us, actually 6 puts us in line with where we were talking about. And then with the armoring on it, that'll actually blend into the back a bit. So we'll probably end up with it somewhere around here. And then what we'll do is on the bottom side is we'll replicate that height. Now I think for the bottom side we may actually go a little bit lighter on the armor. Instead of looking at 2 to 3 levels, we're looking at 1 to 2 levels. And that is more just so that we can keep our clearances within reason. But I think that will help with the overall weight, or the feeling of weight on the ship. So what I'm thinking I'll do, let's see. Let's go ahead and cut this off here, height-wise. So if we factor it at that height, right, that all comes down, and then we run it straight back aft of the ship. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'll go ahead and take this stuff apart. You are all floating off of that line right there. That would be really bad to cut you free then. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing. But I think I would probably have to turn Bob on and have him grind all of that down. So let me see. Let's go ahead and take all of, we're going to go ahead and take this out, right? Ooh, that would have been bad. Alright, so do we have a place that I can... Yeah, I should have... No, we'll go here. That's fine. Alright, so... Let's have you guys... I'm gonna have you go for fly mode. I'm gonna have you grind before weld. I don't want you building new, I don't want you helping others. And let's see, weld priority. So let's disable armor blocks. I mean, the worst that happens is it welds up the stuff that I need to cut out again, but will you not? All right. He's trying to weld up the reactors. That's fine. I'm not worried about the reactor welds. Okay. You're just completely floating here, huh? Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and cut all this down. We're going to let Bob have a blast picking it all up. Don't feel bad for Bob, he enjoys it. Alright, so let's go ahead and grab all of this. Yeah, he's Bob is twisted like that. Alright. Looks like he grabbed all of it. And I have a feeling that he is actually going to weld up everything. Alright. So let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and grab all of this out. because we're not quite sure where everything's going to fall yet as far as height is concerned. But I do think that that will help. Alright. Okay, so then I'll get the rest of this out. Okay, so a little bit more. And basically what I want to do is take a look at it and see, you know, if this does address the perceived problem. I mean, I would rather do this. Yeah, do this, get it done. You look like... Alright, so that should be... Yeah, see, I think that that's going to be a much better weight on it. I mean, there's also the possibility that we just don't do the one on the bottom, but I kind of want to keep it proportional on top and bottom. And so I think this will actually help address some of the weight issues that I was talking about with the way the old design was working. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that's going to be better. Let's get rid of that. Ah, I'm out of power. Out of power. Ah, let me in. Let me in. Let me in. Seriously, let me in. Oh, that was close. Okay. But yeah, you see the difference as far as, let's get that out of the way, as far as the weight of the whole thing. Oh, hello. I do think that that's going to be the way to go, because if we do that, we do a partial nacelle or even the full nacelle down below. Yeah. Because we could even just do like like a half height nacelle down there, you know, to account for. But I'm kind of thinking that having it will give us a better balance on the weight from top to bottom, especially since we're not really beefing up the mandibles and those side hallways all that much. I think it'll just end up being a little bit better overall in terms of the weight that it lends. Okay. Alright, so I think that's what we're gonna do with it. I also like the fact that it does give us, let's see here. Talk about the bridge here for a second, because it does end up providing I think a better view out of the bridge. Let's go take a look really quick. I know, I keep wanting to get everything sealed up so we can get this thing actually airtight. Upstairs. And I still have to address all of the painting issues and everything, but... So you see how you have giant wall blocking here? We come over here, we don't have that. And I think that's a better option. Yeah, I think I do think I'm liking that better. I mean, there's definitely something about having, you know, the wall of steel here. But I think my big issue with it is that it ends up being such a huge amount of dead space back there that we can get a lot of the same things that I was talking about doing, you know, like the lights and things. We can still do that, you know, back here, but it gives us, I think it gives us a much better control over what's going on, and we can even bring the forward portion of that nacelle forward more if we need it to. If we needed to do so, like, I mean, we could actually bring it as far out as here. You know, that is definitely an option. So if we found that we needed to add more reactors, that's 1, 2, 3. So that would be 1 more reactor, 2 more reactors, 3 more reactors. And then this would be the wall, which is, I think, let's plan on this being front wall. So we're talking about having all of the lighting effects and everything. Because if we need to ramp this thing up and actually get more power generation online, this will definitely allow us to do that. And you would be at this height. Let's see what that would look like if we so that would be, so effectively this would come out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's going to come up to, that'll come over. Like so. And if we're up here, we'll have, yeah, I think I like that actually. Alright, so if we do that, we're looking at 2 layers of armor over it. Alright, so that would be 2 levels of armor. This will be the detailing level. That means we get to bring most of this down. Actually, would we? Get rid of that. Alright, so you are 1 block up, right? So you'd be there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we went, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 up. So that's 5 above total. That allows us to tie directly into that. We're talking about having at least 1 block of armor here. That's going to come down and blend in. So the question becomes, do I want that to come through? Or are we going to do something in that area? This is where the decisions have to start coming into things. Well, I guess if we're talking about this area is going to end up being armored, So if we do one additional block of armor on this side, and we do another block on this side, how many is that? That should be a width of 4? 3? Yeah, so that's a width of 4. So that would leave us with a little bit of negative space in here. We can blend stuff together. So this would be basically this will end up coming back this way. I guess if we did, okay, let's see how this looks if we bring this over. I think we're starting to get back into that scale that I don't want. Yeah, I think that scale is not quite where I want to be. I mean, it's only a difference of 1 block height. But that difference is amazingly annoying. Yeah, so. It's going to be there. There's going to be that. So if we go 2 out from this line, which is 3 out. 3, so that'll be out there. That gives us a reason to go ahead and cut that out. This whole thing is basically going to be, so we're going to end up with armor that comes out to up to here. And this is actually going to go pretty much all the way out. And that'll all be filled in back here. Which means the whole shape going to be like that. And this armor is going to basically fill in here. And you're going to end up with all of this being armor. This is going to be inside the nacelle, so we're not too worried about that. Nacelle is going to basically come here. All right. Yeah, I'm liking that better. I'm liking that much better. And since we've got this space over here, what we'll do is bring you up.
Energy low.
So that gives us So if we go like so, that moves us over this way. I mean, we could even go like this. Which would then take this out. Come on. Yeah, I'm liking that much better. Alright, and then just to balance it out, basically we end up with something like that. Yeah, we're okay. We're okay for right this second. So basically we move everything over one block. That's not looking. Yeah, I'm thinking, looking at that, yeah, I think that looks better. Okay. So what I'm going to do, and I am going to go ahead and do this off camera because it's going to be a couple of hours worth of work, and I don't want to take the chance of everything crashing on me again. So what I'm going to do is take what we have with this and recreate it on the other side, just down lower. And then take all of this out and do the same on this side. It's going to be a pain in the butt. All right. But you know what? I think it's going to look better overall for it long term. We'll see how that all plays out. So, between now and Friday, hopefully I will get all of that done. We'll see what happens on Friday, and then it's very possible I may actually end up doing, like, recording it. I'll probably end up recording it just as raw footage anyway. But we'll see. Like I said, I don't want to make a guarantee or a promise that it's going to have it. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to get out of here. I want to thank you all for stopping in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, you know the routine. There's that like, there's that subscribe. Throw your comments down below. Let me know what you think about the idea on rebalancing the nacelle. I'm going to keep looking at it. I'm going to keep looking at it as I go and try and decide on if I'm going to keep the forward sweep or if I'm going to, like, the move forward on the nacelle, or if I'm going to bring it back to where we originally had everything. I'm not really sold on either side. I do think that having it come forward a little bit helps with that sense of weight that we've been talking about. But we'll see. So yeah. So my homework is between now and Friday. Get that nacelle built out. Get that nacelle broken down and mirrored, and then we'll start working on the lower nacelles as well. And then, like I said, with the lower nacelle, we have a little bit more freedom on certain things, but at the same time, we are also more restricted. And so I'm going to see what we can do with it. Anyway, I'm out of here. On that note, I hope everyone has a fantastic day. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you back here on Friday for more Space Engineers. As always, folks, take care and be safe out there, everybody. And as much as I've been trying to avoid it, I may have to bulk up that nacelle or the mandibles a little bit. This could be an issue.